2004 was the first year that I couldn't fit all my pictures for 1 year into one album. I had a new baby, my second child, and I guess we just had a really busy December. So I decided to create a second album. The album was started sometime in 2005, and I think this picture here of my son as a baby, that was a formula used from either Creative Memories or Scrapbooking magazine, and I think that was made in 2005. Some of these others were started a few years later, but I did add some finishing touches very recently when I bought some Creative Memories cardboard cut-aparts. But much of the album was done around 2015, which I think is around the time I finished it. Even though this album is simple and the style is maybe not exactly how I would do it today, I absolutely love this album so much that I've considered now creating a Christmas album where I just add where I have one continuous album that I add a few pages to each year, just because it's kind of nice just to look at those Christmas, winter, snow pictures. This page was from the gingerbread houses, which I didn't know at the time that this would eventually come to an end. My kids are too old, they don't give it that much attention, and I just loved this page. I waited a long time to make that. Also, the carousel page, I think this comes together really well, even though it's two separate events. I worked so hard on those carousel letters, even though they're kind of hard to read. And then I have a peekaboo pocket here, and I honestly don't remember if I was before my time in the peekaboo pockets or if these were added later. This little snowman like you came from a piece of paper that a friend gave me not too long after I got married, and then it would be, I don't even know, 8 to 10 years before I would actually use it on this layout. So that's kind of funny to me. This Harley Santa, first of all, this was the most amazing thing that a coworker of my husband's used to do. But also I used a formula for this, and it just had this simple border that I used this horizontal striped candy cane paper in a few places, and these fleur-de-lis that are stickers that I took from somewhere. This one has a peekaboo pocket as well. I think I added that peekaboo pocket years later when they kind of became a thing. In this page, I liked using this Christmas tag for my journaling and cutting out that extra picture of my daughter. I had that one extra picture that I couldn't give up but didn't really have a spot for it. So I just added it kind of as an embellishment on top of that other picture. And these ivy leaves are so classic. They kind of go with anything. I think this is a classic looking page. Here I used actually a Persnickety Prints, that Joy square card. Came with some photos that I ordered for them, and I loved it, so I used it on a page. I think this is one of the first borders that I made in that corner. And the Santa workshop cutout was definitely a Creative Memories cutout that was fairly recent. On this page I did some things that I really had been wanting to try for quite a while, so I cut up a ton of scraps into these little flags to tuck underneath. And I also took those candy cane stripes under the eave were also scraps. I used a lot of scraps on this page, and yet I think it turned out good. I also used a double peekaboo pocket. And that would be a pretty recent thing. I honestly can't remember if I finished this page pretty recently or if I was just way ahead of my time with that. Could go either way. I really like the clock being used on Christmas Eve rather than New Year's Eve. This page, I really like this blue and white dotted paper. I really love just the color of it, and then it goes so well with this Merry Christmas title, which I'm pretty sure is from Creative Memories. I added in this extra pocket for these extra pictures, and because of the way it's tucked up into the spine, this is not an official Creative Memories, this was something I just did myself. I also created this paper pocket. Neither one of them are perfect, but you know what, it's done, and I like it, and it works for me, and I realized at some point that I am the audience for my albums. This fireplace, which is from Creative Memories, I waited so long to find that because I had a kind of a recipe that I was following that really needed that template. This page is that simple grid, and I added in, again, you'll see in a second, some extra, I wanted to point out my bangs here because my bangs were so horrible in that picture on the cover of the album, and I think it was just the way I combed them that day. My bangs weren't actually that horrible, I promise. I use these photo frames. There's a heart one there and there's a photo frame on the other side to balance it, and then you can see I have that extra page put in there for just a few extra photos that I had, and it actually is fine when it's laying there. And then this paper is one of my absolute most favorite pieces of paper ever, and then this is just a little thing that my daughter made at school. Another thing she made at school. It doesn't tuck in there perfectly, but it's good enough. It's done. I love this album. I love to look back on these memories.